that everything is working. Review show. This is the first of the 2 review shows for today. Later on, we're going to look at Kaizer Chiefs and also speak about a little bit about the Sundowns as well. I'm going to try not make it a therapy session. This is the team one. Those who are jumping in right now, just let me know that my sound is fine and you can hear me. I'm also checking on my side, but it just makes it a little bit quicker. If you can just let me know there in the comments as well. We missed some shows last week, but we are here, we're here. Just going through my final checks while I'm here. Okay, thank you, Theo. Hey, you guys started a very interesting conversation there, grouping, right when I'm about to start the show. Hey, you guys are unfair. There, grouping. You guys, we have a WhatsApp group that you can access for just 20 Rand a month. That's where you can hear a lot more of the conversations that we have. But it's fine. Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George Mokwena. I am your host. This show is on every Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon. And then also Monday to Wednesday, we do an 8 p.m. session. And we also do watch-alongs of the big 3. If you want to watch any of the previous episodes back, it's not just review shows. It's not just watch-alongs. We actually have some really cool discussions that we have on this here channel that are incredible. They are available on Facebook and on YouTube in full. So if you could please do me the favor of following this TikTok page, following the YouTube channel, the Overthinking Football Show, and then following the Facebook page as well. That's where the action happens. And over and above what I just told you about the WhatsApp group for just 20 Rand a month, you'll also be contributing towards keeping this show running, keeping the lights on, keeping my rent paid and all of that stuff too. So the WhatsApp group is a very good incentive, but it's more to support the show. Support us creators, man. We do this so that we can create these platforms and give them to everybody so that we can interact on these things. Today we're going to be speaking about Orlando Pirates versus Richards Bay. Unfortunately, because it's Richards Bay home game versus the Pirates, there aren't any press conferences that I could find. So we can't start the show how we normally start, listening to the coaches speak about how they played versus Richards Bay and things that they saw. So I'm just going to go straight into my thoughts about this game, Richards Bay versus the Pirates. I'm going to start with Richards Bay. I think Richards Bay showed us in that game that small teams, quote unquote, can come out and give teams a game. I think they came out a lot more aggressive. I think they came out a lot more confident on the ball. And little things about decision making let them down. But I don't know if it's because Coach Kanu has signed there. Coach Vusmuzi Vilagazi has signed on that side, and now he's bringing in that influence. But they came out and they played, especially in the first 15 minutes, a very good game, a hopeful game for quote-unquote smaller teams. 2 shots in the first 2 minutes. They had a corner within the first 2 minutes. They pressed Pirates very high, won the ball, did a lot of good work, and maybe more teams should be playing like that. Especially for a team that's second from the bottom. You would have imagined that they would go into this game very safe, very cautious, not looking to rock the boat too much. But they did the business for the first 15 minutes, but decision making and also fear took over, and they ended that match playing a typical low block versus the Pirates. Pirates, on the other hand, another game where they've struggled. They struggle to score. They're struggling right now with knowing which team plays what, knowing what players should play, knowing what their first team should be, knowing what their game plan is going to be going into these games, especially versus low blocks. And you could see it again, to Lebza's point here on TikTok, saying that these games are torture. It was torture. We know that Pirates has quality. We know that Pirates has at least a championship, a cup-winning team. We know that it's there. But when you look at them on the pitch, You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether they're going to be able to score. You don't know whether those players even care remotely about the league. And it's sad because that's the team that we are trying, that we keep saying is second to Sundowns and should be giving Sundowns a run for their money. Out they come again with a different team. Their starting lineup was Buthelezi Kokinda, Hoto Tim, Ndlondlo Maswanganyi, Pule Makaringe, Mfukeng, and Mahopa. So they've changed a lot of that team and how it works. Now, do you guys believe me when I say it's coming down to the tactics of what they are doing during the day and during the game, right? Makaringe was missing for most of that match. Ndlondlo and Da they can't play the same team. They can't. Nda was the playmaker when Ndlondlo was out, because when Ndlondlo was out, they decided Nda comes in, he gets the ball, he facilitates. When Nda's on the pitch, Pirates goes outside and in. When Ndlondlo's on the pitch, before Nda was included, Ndlondlo would come deep, collect the ball from the goalkeeper, then he would be the link between him and the number 10s, right? That is now at odds with Unda. So we don't know who's meant to do what in that team, how Pirates is meant to play. When they get into the number 10 role, what is Maswanganyi? We saw Maswanganyi playing a specific way when Pirates was winning. Then all of a sudden, they're trying to make him a false 6, a 6-8 on the right-hand side. Yeah, there's so much happening that Pirates, they're insisting on Mahopa, even though we know what Mahopa is. We've seen what Mahopa does. But yeah, he carries on playing Naye. He decided to bring in two players that have not played minutes this season. In Umakaringe, in Vincent Pule, and Nabo, they were lost to the game. There's just a lot that's happening there at Pirates, and it's starting to hurt, man. It's already hurt their prospects of trying to win the league from Sundowns. So I'll just give the quick stats and then we'll go from there. Team stats. 4 shots on target, Richards Bay. 10 shots on target, Pirates. 10 shots, Pirates. Shots on target, 3 Richards Bay, 2 from Pirates. Pirates had 69% of the possession. They had 459 passes versus only 212 from Richards Bay. Their accuracy was higher with 85%. 13 fouls, Richards Bay, 8 fouls, Pirates. And then 3 yellow cards on the Richards Bay side. 1 red card on Pirates side, which was given to someone who was to Kimanke Munare, who was slapping, who was trying to fight ball boys there at Richards Bay. 11 corners for Pirates, 2 for Richards Bay, only 2 offsides for Pirates, 1 for Richards Bay. That pretty much tells you what this is. Guys, I'm going to open up the lines and allow you guys to join me. Please remember that you have to be following me on TikTok. Join me on TikTok in order to add your voice to the show while I am live. Let me just get the last one, okay? Oh, I was expecting more Pirates fans to want to jump on. Veli Leputuam, how are you, my brother?
Hey, Takabab.
Skipani, unjani? After a couple of days, this one njani result yenu ngegame yenu?
Hayi kunzima.
Uboneni kule game? Uboneni kule game?
Kunzima mntakama, uyabona angazi basho labafundi la bathi doing one thing ngaso sonke isikhathi and expecting the different result. Hey, yabona namanje ngiyi-1 abosiyo basaba nokungena bakukhulumela emaceleni ngale. Bafuna ukuzwa ngathi abake basinike ithuba nje sikhale sivente senze yonke into. Hayi kubi mntakama, angazi ukuthi ngizawuthini. Kusho khona ngiyabona into ngikwenza ngakhona, ngiyabona ukuthi hayi ngathi ama-team njengabo Cape Town City nabo SuperSport azoba nama-support amaningi ngoba le mpi besithi siyibhekile ezoyenzeka phakathi kwama-team aseSoweto nalaba-4 basePitoli, hayi ngathi angeke izenzeke. Mina-ke hayi, when it comes to PSL games ngiyawachitha lamanzi, ayikho lenkukhu. Angisazi-ke ukuthi sengizothi ucoach-a, sengizothi ama-player, kodwa nawe nje konke sengiyakublame nje manje.
Bara naku coach wakho utshintsha ama-player, ufaka aboMakaringe, aboPule, still.
but for Makareng ugcina nokudlala and then you are coming from a FIFA break whereby i-team in about 2 weeks ingadlali ufaka umuntu ogcina ngazi lokudlala you start kanti awuqhubeka inyana lapho ogcine khona on the last game and see ukuthi kunjani because I believe mina ukuthi i-level of fitness yalawa agcina alawa agcina on the last game then ingconyana as compared to yabo Makareng uyangithola as much as he was doing before yokuthi I-introduce anike uPule some minutes to amagame adlulile if whether it's 15 minutes 20 minutes at least so that i-form yakhe izo-pick up but angazi yazi when it comes to nakhona nendaba ye-middle field yethu esiyostela indaba kaNdlondlo no Nda
Yeah.
indaba ukuthi ibhola kulamalanga too sophisticated selinamagama amaningi ama-system asebenziswayo 352 counter press counter what yaze lakudala belisimple ngani ukuthi besazi bakuthiwa udlala i-4 umsebenzi wakho ukumaka bakuthiwa udlala u-6 siyaphambili kanti angazi angeke sizame ukuba i-system nayo esiyidlalayo engathi iyasixaka or whether does it suit ama-players esinawo or kanjani because i-Pirate iyadlala but uyithole kwesinye isikhathi iyaphambili but there are no numbers in the box and if you don't have more numbers in the box angiboni amagoli azovelaphi mntakababa if you are playing a certain system that we are going to implement on a particular game and they've got pace going forward, they've got players who are attack minded, but you don't find them in the box. And you know, if at least now 3 or 4 players in the box, khona sanokushayisa nje libe lokumunye mhlambe naye aqedelele. But if you don't and then you are playing ngendlela odlala ngakhona and with the same team le actually futhi keep like nasecampini playing the same thing they haven't offered anything shuthi bona they know ukuthi thina when we are playing against you this is a type of system of low block so isebenzisa whether like and we won't change we won't move and it's asihlulile futhi namanje angazi igame esingakhi lesligini es12 or esingakhi es13 we still haven't come out with a solution for this type of system la ama team ayidlala against thina so you ngisho this either ama-player or coach or abafowethu abafundi they don't learn they don't angisazi bathi kumnyama ebusweni benkawu
ithi ngifake uKing G ngizobuya ngoba khona izinto engifuna ukubuza ngawo specifically King G you can just unmute King G welcome to the show
Kunjani
mina King G i3 points khona la kimi esayidini lami laseSoweto angazi ngani ukuthi ngidlale njani uyibone njani le game
mina ngizokutshela bro wami ibhola elidlalwa iPirates manje angisala understand mina uyabona because how can you field 6 left-footed players ubheke ibhola madlala to the right hand side asikwazi ukuthi singakhona ukubuyisa ibhola kahle lingene eboxini and 2 asi-add ama numbers eboxini 3 without uLodge iPirates is doing nothing yeah so nama combination wethu angi-understand ukuthi thina ngizothi ngiblame coach or ngiblame system esisebenzisayo because if I look kuchange ama-idea all the time what about sizame uLesedi Kapinga this boy has been here for us ukuthi azosiza going forward but lo mfana I think he's not given a fair chance ukuthi adlale sifaka bo Dlamini I mean ama-player kumele ahambe lawo so I don't think ukuthi Pirates will win anything going forward because sinama ball players amaningi we just need strikers
so on that point I'm a ball player for me it feels as though and I know man it's gonna sound a bit weird but it feels as though I'm a player when khona player mnandi there's too many number 10s or number 10 like players and then they end up all playing with the ball instead of with by phambili but then also it seems as though Jose ubatshele ukuthi guys you guys are talented you guys are very good players I'm not going to tell you what to do or give you a plan we're going to let you guys play and hopefully niza combine some way somehow
yeah une point lapho bro wami because somehow mina ngibona ngathi sidlalela enye ibhola esingali-understand nathi ukuthi sifuna ukuyenzani. Sidlalela ukuthi sidlale e-ball position or sidlalela ukuthi sithole ama-results. So we need more players abafana nabo, who's this guy we-striker, Evidence Makgopa. Yabona, thina sithengisa asivayisa ama-player grand, abo-Goodman Moseli, people who can hold the ball, a-relaxise igame, yabona, sidlale kahle. But angazi ukuthi ucoach sekayitholile i-combination yakhe na. Mina ngiprefer uMnare than uThimi. Because uThimi, ama-pass wakhe mangwa-counter since isizini icalile. Uphase ama-pass ayi-3 aya phambili. Yeah, so
Okay.
we need iy'nkomo kahle kahle.
I want to come back. Malome Khutso, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, how are you, Mr. OT?
I'm good. Tell me, Malome Khutso, how did you see this game?
Unfortunately, I didn't catch the entire game. I understand. I just caught my highlights, but I could see it's just almost a carbon copy of the past 5 or 6 games, and it seems like every team has decided they're not going to attack, besides one team, of course, but all the other teams have decided against Pirates, they're not going to attack. And actually, in all fairness, even that very specific team is more cautious when they play against us, defensively speaking. And our coach is some sort of a Simeone type of vibe, in that he prefers playing off the ropes. Ropa Dopnyana, unlike playing straight on the attack. I understand that. Not only, so he basically has the ingredients playing on the front foot. However, he does not have the desire, or I don't want to say the know-how, because maybe he hasn't tapped into it for now. But from what he's shown, he let me just say, he does not play on the front foot, and he does not wish to do so. Well, I understand. The players we have are good enough to play on the front foot. And I think when you reach a situation where you have similar players, and they probably don't fit into your system, I think as a coach, what you can do and what we'll be telling of you is to spot from all the similar players with you who's convertible, who can I change into a different position, and who can still deliver. You'll be mindful, Wuti, when we talk about Umshishi, we're talking about an attacking midfielder, but he's played so many positions under different coaches, and I think under Pete, he would come off the wing, including with Tekomdise. I think under Ukrol, when he was our best player, he'd be coming off the wing. So the two coaches had spotted, which, okay, this is a convertible player and he can still excel. At Pirates, I think we need to do that as well, to find alternative positions for different players, because these players, they want to do the same thing. And unfortunately, we can't have too many passengers when defending, and we can't have too many objects or gang figures. It's loose. And at some point, someone has to assume a specific position. And understand. And another thing, a counterproductive to what we're trying to do, which makes me feel, which maybe we're really defensive, is that we don't push our defense high enough for the type of attackers we have. And even when we do push it high enough in defense of the defense, the attackers don't press hard enough. Because if you're going to play a high line, that dictates to our attackers which you better press. Because one mistake, Undaga Shaimoto, Nda versus Shalulile, or Nda versus Dupree. Let's either Nda versus Dupree. It's curtains. It's gone. You understand? So the only way to curtail with the Ngabinale situation is to have your Maswangais, your Mfukings press extremely hard when we don't have the ball. You understand? So in as much as I fault defense for not pushing high enough, I do understand which the attackers are also not pressing hard enough. You understand? So if we can get that right, I still believe we've got a great coach and we've got a great squad. Unfortunately, The squad, I feel Umchita with fitness has to do better, man. The squad is never consistent, and it's never down to a technical preference. Which coach ufuna ukufaka abantu bani, ufuna ukufaka abantu bani. It's always down to Lepas is out for 7 games. Kapinga has a knock. Mfukeng is on trial. Okay, that's a different story. But we've had so many players. Umako out for some time. Muchaina out for some time. And I feel like Machita fitness lead Fizo can do better in helping the coach have a consistent lineup.
Okay. I'm gonna come back because you touched on some points that I wanna speak to. Theo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Do you know that song?
And then Masevas Pet and Nachi beyond the ropes, nothing.
It's not 3 points. It's the last
Tell me, Theo, besibukele sonke le game. We won njani le game, Richards Bay Pirates.
Yeah, guys, let me greet you, Mr. OT, again. Because I greeted you on YouTube, was on that comment. But let me greet you again. Let me greet the panel, except to Kuto, because we spoken also in the WhatsApp group. And let me greet the guys on the comment section. Guys, okay, based on against popular belief, guys, it wasn't a too much bad game. It was a bad game because the standard CPSL is too poor, guys. Let's be honest. You know, we cannot be having, you was busy saying the very same thing is, technical ability. When players, Richards Bay made a lot of man, you can't
decision
tell me
making.
Richards Bay, and we talked about that a lot because like they were busy doing nonsense after nonsense. Like when you are defending, guys. I remember Chelsea and Man City. Chelsea defended, and when they sprang up, they also did that against Barcelona. They scored a goal, and that's it. And then they won the game. I'm asking myself, Gucci, you watch these teams there, you are always defending against Pirates, but what is it that you've got to show for? 3 points is not the 1 point, guys. We cannot fool ourselves. They can come and say, no, we have conquered Pirates, but what is to conquer? Yeah, but back to the game, Mr. OT. I think, when you check the highlights, as Kuto has been saying, guys, the Pirates were not so bad, guys, man. Let's be honest. They were not so bad. Just that they missed a lot of chances and luck was not on their side. But also, they were not as dominant as you'd want them to be. And they lacked a lot of precision and understanding of each other. But I also think having Utito is starting to become a disadvantage because he's slowing play. That's why Pirates is not as effective as they were before him. When they got the ball, Pirates, they used to penetrate fast. Now, when they give the ball to Tito, he then traps, relax, then he wants to release Ganti. Pirates, they are more effective when they move the ball quick enough. They destabilize the center of the defense, and then they are able to penetrate. But other than that, I think it was not that much of a bad game. But when the time see Bugabe better, but now having to do my highlights, it was not that bad, guys. Yeah.
It was bad. I'm a highlight. In 3 minutes. Bugeli 90 yonke. General, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, how are you, Saj?
I'm good, Maga. How are you? How? Before we started.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, Braga. Disappointed, Braga. Pirates are disappointed.
Nchayelo, warning kake.
Pirates are disappointed. It's your flop game, my brother. Like game Pirates that would play laser complain or why could just a local lodge? Why could just a local bullet to play in so every day? Like culture na in a little goose thing where Damana and a game play in the Dama. Damana and a game play. Damane Okucha is if first season this year. And the second season, Anna starting 11. Chop and Chinchi. Still low and no if I support the Daman. Erete mo vaisha yao nyaga kuchung wega Gemini saiti. I've tried a sim store.
Maruli winela di trophy, ma.
Mapaganya the problem. Yeah?
Li winela di trophy again.
Hey, can I flop on it? The trophy. No, Braga, Ranyago win a league, Braga. Ranyago win a league, Braga. Kinner win a league, this is near win a league. This is near win a league. Ronald 10 years no.
Mm. Yeah, I think the network is a bit poor there, but General, I'm gonna come back. Try jump on again. Velile, I wanna come back to you. I've got two questions. How
Yeah.
much of this is attitude? Ngoba sayibona Pirates idlala one way pretty much the whole time. But banithi cup, le one way ngathi iyasebenza ngazi what happens. How much of this is attitude, number one? And then number two, why change a formula? Jose had a formula. He had players, Paris Bekora, they had a way to play. Abo Tito were comfortable. Why now change it even when you've got most of the players that were missing through Ama injury? They're back. Why achincha yonke into nje or out of the blue?
Yeah. No, before address a little issue, bengicela just to konke engikhohliwe just to ukuthi ngiyibeke nje on the table. If maybe any of the panelists there abakhona abafowethu on the comments can answer and be that or just address me. The issue suspension ka-Lodge. Who does it benefit? Like when they take that decision to suspend, Lodge was found guilty 3 months ago. If that thing was really serious, even on the previous games. So now we've got a player who was found guilty on his domestic issue 3 months ago. Wambuyisa uyadlala. Now he's got his sentence, everything is finalized. Ugwetshiwe wabhadaliswa imali. Now you suspend him up until December for like, and then uyabuya next year. Like what I understand how does it benefit whoever benefit or whoever come up with that idea or that decision ukuthi mhlambe what was on their mind. Angazi angiyitholi season, maybe slow mina or what, just to put on a panel if anyone can assist me on that decision. Yeah.
For me, it doesn't make sense. For me, honestly, it doesn't make sense. Besides 3 months ago, didn't Pirates put out a statement, was it 2 years ago, where they said they had fined the player? They did an investigation, then they fined the player who lodged. So them doing another investigation now and disciplining him now for Leo's 12 days in, 14 days, 2 weeks.
14
what
days.
does that change? And is it worthy of 14 days? I have many questions, Galeon.
Give me young confused like easy. So yeah. So well on the attitude when I'm talking about they think good if you can take it in any game of whether now outside the league, cup games will always be different as compared to league games because on a league game there is this thing at the back of your mind of saying okay we still gonna catch up, and the mostly Guma league games that's where we try our new system and a new pattern and new combination when we play on the league games. But on a cup game, it's about winning. Because if it's a knockout, it's about winning. Whether you've won, you've got a one-shotted goal, it was a goal, it's done. We are going to go to the next round. It doesn't matter how. They don't emphasize that they're playing style cup games. But now when it comes to league game, that's where you need to perfectionate your style of play. Lento yenza ejimini ukuthi want to implement new system. This is a way of playing that we are going to try and see the different combination. That's where we have to see it on a league game. And but if uzofika 14 games, we have imperfectionated it with the same coach who has been there for the second season, then it becomes a problem, and it's just frustrating. So yiyo ngithi sesihalf a season my angiboni sizwe sazorecover. Sisabhilda sesiphenduka abanye abantu engangibabiza ngamagama
Siyeke.
yasheshe yafika kumnikazi engakakhulumi nokukhuluma kanje
Ngiyanazi. No, but the reason why I'm asking is that clearly the formation ingasebenza. So it can work. We know that the players maybe can work in this thing. Mara sibabona kuphela when it comes to a cup game. Shouldn't Pirates start treating a league like every game is a cup final. Maybe kumele challenge njalo
No,
babhale
no,
lapha
no.
change room.
No, even the cup game, go on this season. If isebenzile this season mawuthayibheke isebenze, I can say it worked perfectly on the last season top 8 they washaya iSundowns ePolokwane. Le yenza inkinga kwaxoshwa abantu abanye baba ama senior coach and smaller coach nani uyayikhumbula that isebenze lapho and it worked this year futhi on the same cup kusikhukhune le game is it 5-2 or 4-1 if angimix ne league ye it worked then. And that's why I've always said, good, it's system is something that you build up. It's a longer term things that you must build up. But at the same time, outside builder, it needs to show you signs. Okay, there, and then if I can trickle here and change this and do this, is a sebenza. But if you look at the business, if I later my results, so 14 game, if it was another team, we're going to go so and if it was another team, you would have even lost your job even after 5 games. Go cheaper even after 1 game we are hamp. So in general, you need to make it their work. But if I sebenzi, that's where it becomes a problem. If being a sebenzi, but at least we are collecting point. Isisakhona ukukuxolela kancane but always pointing out isani but kodwa ayadlalanga kahle laphana because that system lana akahlangani combination but at least kunanto ukuthi at least siwinile. But when it comes to the future again into ukuthi at least uyishaye because if that combination ayishaya ngedebot lama win bowathola they've dried up now those wins bobhizi wathola kancane ukuthi at least once those wins dried up and then you are caught up with that system that you're trying to play. Or if you implement 100%, because there's always like a counter response towards your system. It will become a problem and it becomes a frustration, especially if abanye umakhelwane bayawina bona eceleni and then the other one is running away with the league. Then it becomes a problem. But if the other ones were not running away with the league, bahleli bana 8 game awina wonke ama-game and then alaba abanye bamabhokobhoko they're just collecting points how and now. And no matter kanjani bengeke ibe inkinga but because kuyenzeka so that's why it just becomes frustrating kuba inkinga because we know they are coming for us yangibona but kona ukubekezela noma kunzima asikayiboni indlela but we will hang in there and we give our coaches support and see mhlambe if masika ku Christmas break hopefully next day after CAF maybe we might be a different machine sisizame sibone but hey kodwa igap ilavaleka mntakababa igap ama-game in hand aphelile ayaphelile bafu.
Okay. Malume Khutso, same questions to you. How much of this comes down to attitude? Because again, Pirates players seem different, man. Like there's a different energy around Pirates when it's a cup game. And I'd imagine that at this point, you'd want that energy to be transplanted into the league and see them pushing. And the reason why I ask is that they've played, I know he changed the formation a little bit, tried to make it a 3-4-3, but they've played a specific way for the past, 5-6 games? And you've seen, man, people aren't necessarily coming to the party, aren't necessarily performing like that. How much of this comes down to attitude?
Well, I wouldn't blame them as much in terms of the attitude. There's another aspect I'd like to throw into the conversation around the Pirates' form, as well as Kokapung and Likuliki. I don't think it's just Pirates. I think the opponents as well. The attitude towards Pirates in a cup game and in a league game plays a huge role. For example, we couldn't beat Stelis. Go Cape Town because they were sitting back in the league and they were like, it's fine. But in the cup, they tried coming for us and we got 2 goals. You understand? So the same thing. It's because they were coming for us, which we were able to get 5 past, and then reverse fixture, Moliking was more controlled. Even their approach was more controlled. So it's not down to the Pirates improving Kadi Cups only, but also the other teams opening up Kadi Cups because they know which is Wafa. They can't just sit 90 minutes, one understand. So I think that's another important difference. And then,
but Richards Bay came at you guys for a good 25 minutes. In fact, from 2 minutes, they already had 2 shots on target. One on target, one had to be taken out for a corner.
Well, I can
They
tell you for
pressed very
free.
high.
I can tell you for free that it's not just Richards Bay. Remember, almost every team, including Chiefs, remember the modus operandi is score early and defend because they can't pass through a low block. You'll win. So all of the teams, whether it's a cup game, most of them, they try and defend. But during cup games, they try and open up Bazamoho attack, or understand, in different periods of the game. But Molly King, they want to go for it early, like Cape Town Spurs did, and then they can sit back. They know, but we're struggling. We're going to struggle. We can't break the low block. I understand. And then can I just comment on, I just want to, Barking.
On the lodge issue.
Yeah, I want to assume, I just forgot the proper English term, speculate or whatever. It could be that they're looking into the law, which can a convicted individual play, and what are the consequences thereof. Remember that there was a case where the former president, or not from the former president's wife, Winnie Mandela, was going for a parliament, and they had to review which can someone with a sentence and not necessarily a conviction but a prison stay or a suspended sentence go into a parliament, and the outcome was not only based on a conviction but the amount of stay in prison as well as the type of punishment received. So I think, judging by the number of days Uloch is getting, it's also to address those legal implications along with our sponsor to say, can Adidas accept a convict with a specific type of sentence playing every day in their kit? What does it say to Vodacom, etc.? So it's an important break that they have to take with all the stakeholders, engage with them. It's not only about us and Uloch. It's a huge, it's a broader conversation that they have to go into and investigate, which is why I think he's been, in inverted commas, suspended. You can see he's been given leave. You can say the team has been given some thinking space. But when back to football matters, like I said, I just think as a team, we need to find a formation that works for at least 90% of the team.
And that goes for my second question now. Pirates seem to have a formula at the beginning of the season. They had a formation. The players seemed comfortable. They went through their injury troubles. Yes, a lot of players were not available. But now 90% of that team that was playing at the beginning is now available. Why not go back to how you played at the beginning of the season where there was some success?
Well, I would say 90% is a huge number, but they are not readily available. Some of them are available, but they are not readily available. And another issue, here's the issue of having a big player, like Ten Hag had. Sometimes the big player is not the one gelling, but it's a smaller player. Now, when the big player is playing week in, week out, it's quite difficult to sub that big player out for a smaller player. You understand? So when a Lodge is fit, whether contributing positively or negatively, but giving you 65%, it's quite difficult to just sub him because he brings more to the table than just passes and all. He brings some supporters, he brings joy, he brings back pages, he brings sales. You understand? And then you've got, for example, I can imagine a situation if Ubutelezi was to be injured and Ofori replaced him. It would be very difficult for Buteli to come back and claim the jersey from Ofori because of the stature of Ofori. So the only one where I agree, where I think it might be for the good of the national team coach who might have suggested it, and I'm just throwing pie in the sky here. There's no basis for this. Is Mahopa, because we know Mahopa is preferred by the national team coach and we're going towards the AFCON. So there might have been a request to say, please just play him back to back. I, as the national team coach, know how to use him. You understand?
Okay.
So,
but then I just want to go back to what you said before you move on. But then it worry you that, how do I put it, progression in the league and possibly getting results, possibly, I'm not saying that it's a fix, possibly getting results is overshadowed by the presence of a big player? Shouldn't Jose be feeling some pressure to go, guys, I need results? And if Uloch, as fit as he is, as much as he brings joy and supporters, at the end of the day, if the log looks a certain way or my results look a certain way, I could be in a tough situation there. Doesn't it worry you that maybe Jose hasn't gotten to that point then?
It definitely does. It definitely does. And to a certain extent, I know we are the chill supporters these days. I think we are the Bafana Bokuthula these days. But we really are keeping quiet, looking at how things are going. You know, we could be making more noise. Even the management are just saying, you know what, we appreciate the fact that you've won 3 cups back to back. And we are rewarding him for that feat that he achieved. I understand. So I think even the string of losses or string of bad games without any complaints comes down to the fact that he won 3 cups back to back. And I just wanna play Suwuti. Let me just show you the players who are out, who are coming back in while we are slow. We've got Olisanda, who's a fan favorite. Uspiz and Koyi were good pay, but now there's Olisanda. So one must die between Spitz and Koyi. In the middle, we had Undlondo no Munar. Team is a fan favorite. Goes without saying. Listen to the crowd when he holds the ball, and he also does well. And these the people I'm mentioning are not just fan favorites; they're actually good players. But it's just that the system at the beginning of the season favored these younger ones or these new ones. You understand? And then you've got Uloch, you've got Kemet Erasmus. These guys were not playing, and now they are in the team. And these guys are big names compared to everyone else. I'm sure if we were to check the salary books, the 5 or 4 names I've just counted are probably the ones at the top.
Lippool has found his way back into the team now. Well, he might have found his way back.
Yeah, I understand. So I think irrespect for our player is killing us in a way, not killing us, but maybe hampering progress right now. And the respect as well for our coach is also somewhat hampering us, but I wouldn't have it either way. I'm happy we're respecting both parties. I think it's painful with Sundowns is just chilling there, but I'm aware with this Puma who plays the Pirates without cups.
Okay, no, I hear you. Let me go to Agent. Agent, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna ask you for your general thoughts about this Richards Bay team.
No, I was saying I can see that you are happy. 3 points is not for everyone.
3 points is nice. I want 3 points. 3 points, even when your heart is sore, at least you've got something in a bandish. Agent, tell me, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. How did you feel about this game, Richards Bay, Orlando Pirates? And then secondly, attitude, man. As somebody who supports a team that seems to show the same want and attitude for the league and for cups, how much of these Pirates problems come down to attitude?
I think let me start with the last one. I was listening to Rulani's interview, and he said just before the game, he talked to the players and he said, guys, did you guys see what happened to Ewaited? Did you guys see what happened, with running? So if you guys come with that mentality that this team you have to win, is that first time in group stages, you're going to be in for a surprise, So for me, I'm not the one to always, I think you know me, that I'm always a big defender of coaches. But I can forgive the coach for one game and say, but the players miss, what is it called? It's a game,
Yeah.
I can give them that, but when it's consistent, and I look at the coach, is that the tactics which doesn't work against small teams, because it can be an attitude issue when it's over and over and over again, something somewhere is wrong, and if it's an attitude which is not a one game thing, what is the coach doing to remove that attitude? So I think now my eyes are solely on Ujo say that no man, maybe your tactics against smaller teams are just not it, you know, and you're struggling against them. And even you've always pointed this out, I think from even the first game, that low block Pirates, you win, you know? So if you can see that, surely the coach can see that, surely the analyst can see that, what are they doing to solve it? Because it's not that important to see it. What's more important is solving the problem that you are seeing, you know, coming with solutions. And I think Pirates has been failing to come up with answers, you know. And I look at okay, maybe it's a bad example, but I'll look at Sundowns and Pirates and say, but at the beginning of the season, Pirates was doing well, better than Sundowns. Sundowns was winning, yes, but Pirates was doing well, you know. And even Chiefs was not doing that good, but we're saying it's the start of the season, the teams will improve, you know, it's preseason almost. But it's like the more they play, the worse they get. So what is the issue there? You know,
and before you move on from that, I want to ask you, in light of what Malume Kuto said now, shouldn't Pirates have a bit of an issue with the fact that they're not at a place where they're desperate enough for respected players to be disrespected, quote unquote, or for Jose to stop, I don't know, to be forced to change something? It doesn't seem like Pirates is at that stage, and it doesn't seem like they necessarily care about this league, to be honest. Should that be a worry for the team?
Yes, it should be, and a very big worry. I think they are comfortable being second. They are comfortable winning cups. They are comfortable, you know. And once you're comfortable anywhere in life, that's where you lose it, you know. Look at Sundowns. Sundowns is never comfortable, you know. Is never comfortable. Rolando loses a game or draws a game, oh boy, something has to happen, you know. Even in the interviews, he speaks less, you know. So that is the level that Sundowns is at. And look at Pirates. He has won us a cup. So what? So what? You know, cups is like what? That's a preseason cup. No offense to MTN8, you know. It's 4 games. Anyone can win it. It's just 4 games, you know. So it's the levels that, and I think if you want to talk about attitude, maybe it's the attitude of the management and saying, are we satisfied being 16 points of Sundowns? Are we satisfied with just 1 cup or 2 cups? And we're just saying it's fine. Let's just be the second best team, you know, unless and until they push the limit and push the ceiling, because I think Paris have the personnel and the coach was not that bad to push Sundowns, you know. So yeah, but on the game, I have to give kudos to Richards Bay.
Yeah,
I was kind of disappointed that I didn't see Tso's son. I think he did good the last time I saw Richards Bay. I don't know, maybe injury, I don't know, but I was kind of disappointed not to see him. And also, I think you mentioned this on the live, psychological factors. I'm playing against my father's former team. That could give him a boost, you know. So, but it's fine. But I liked that they're trying to press, you know. They're trying to do something. You know, I love progress, you know. I'm not always for end results. When I see that someone is cooking here, you know, I'm all for it, you know. I can see what they're trying to do, even though it could only last 20 minutes. It was, okay, next time it's going to last 40, then 45, then the whole game, you know. So I'm all for that. You know, I think if they can maintain it, and in January, if they can put in 2 or 3 experienced players, they should be fine. As for Pirates, I don't know what the coach was trying to do, hey? He was just being funny for no reason. I just don't know what he was trying to do. Sometimes, just work with what you know. You know, you know Kim Video will never change the game. He's a slow player. He would never change the game for you. You know, so better start with him even to play him. With Erasmus, I get maybe, but will Jose say I'm willing to sacrifice a win for Bafana? Just looking at how stubborn Jose is, you know. So, but that's fine, you know. Mufokeng won the wide. I don't know. Something was just off on the day, you know. But it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. I wanna jump in on the attitude thing. Here's my opinion. When I say attitude, I don't necessarily only mean attitude in terms of It's a cup game. They're up for it. You know, maybe I come from an older generation of PSL watchers, but the key difference between Chiefs and Pirates of old and the different teams of old was that at some point it's nil-nil. Gooby. It's nil-nil. Chiefs is nowhere. Nobody's doing anything. Pirates, Gooby. Nobody's doing anything. So Vilakazi would just stand up and do something. Like it's almost like he'd go into his head and go, you know what? Angeke ngidiwe Richards Bay. And he'd play and he'd change the game. You know, Abo Tabu Pule. There's plenty of players at the old Chiefs and the old Pirates, and I think it's part of the reason why Abo Lodge, Nabos Banban are so loved. There comes a point where you go, you know what, guys? I need to change this game. I'm the star. I'm the star. I want to go to the stadium. They're watching me. I need to do something here. Tiko spoke about it in a previous interview on Uprasten, where he was speaking about how he felt as though, as the star player, there comes times where I need to put Pirates on my back and I need to play. And I look at the Pirates as what we all agree is the second best team in the league, and I go, oh, Mara, guys, where's that thing, man? Where's that thing where you go, Yazin, guys? It's been real. We've tried. Richards Bay gave us a good run for our money, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to hit them. Me, as the star player. You know, me as Utito, me as Umfukeng, me as whoever, Nda, team, Ndonjo. You know, you expect somebody who's going to be able to do that, and you don't find it. In the same way that when I speak about attitude about Jose, I'm like, Jose, every week, I'm sure if we had the press conference, every week he would say the same thing. No, guys, we have a problem that I need to fix. Low block, low block, low block, low block. He always says low block. He comes out and speaks about a low block. And you're like, but Jose, at what point as Pirates coach, as somebody who knows the culture of the country, who knows where Pirates, who Pirates, Chiefs and Sundowns are in the grand history of the thing, at what point do you say, Yazini, guys, it's not working. I'm going to change this thing. That's what I mean about the attitude. Because you see Pirates do those type of things when they're playing finals, cup finals. Somebody goes, no, you know what? I'm standing up today. You see them when they play Sundowns. Someone goes, no, I'm up for it today. And you don't see that type of attitude. We'll speak about the Chiefs. Similar thing later on at the 8 o'clock show. But that's what I mean about attitude, and that's why I'm asking. Theo, attitude, how important is that? Because when I listen to Pirates fans, when I listen to Jose, when I listen to some of the players, ingati man. They're just like, you know what, Gusowe number 2, at least it's number trophy. Richards Bay, so it's a low block. It's a low block. Like there's so many excuses that we hear. Or maybe
yeah. Like to tell you the truth, sorry guys, network young cow until shading la. But there's something very interesting about Jose, guys. You know, Jose. There's something that Kumo wrote. I'm answering the group. He said, you know, there are many coaches are failing the test when we're talking about Roland. So I think it's the same situation with him. Low block, guys, is not his gift. Like he's failing to find a way to penetrate these things. As I said before, you play against Richards Bay before in the cup, they knock you out. You play against them, you know how they play against you. As I said before, you know, if you have quick players in front of them, you move them quickly. That's why you need quick players. But if you have slow players, they would come back and retrench and then come back and then maybe in their own good positions. And that alone, for me, I think it's a lot of things that, you know, Amasapota says Pirates, they don't want to accept the fact that he's struggling, and him struggling might be their downfall, because now we are taking the frustrations out of the players. The players, then they start being frustrated as well. As the agent has said, man, you cannot be bringing in slow players when you need to chase the game. You know, he's not going to take those players on. As I said, Nami, they don't have super subs anymore. They cannot find those players who come in and run the game out, you know, and you see, hey, yeah, well, they don't have that anymore. But to be honest with you, the attitude factor is very important. It's very, very important. I don't think also they are playing for the badge. I'm sorry to say that people will be angry, but it's fine. I don't think they are playing for the badge as much as they should. You look at Tabo Hoto, you know, there's no desire anymore to say, you know what, guys, we need 3 points. Go and look their stats. They've not scored more than 2 goals, more than 5 or 6 games already. They're struggling to find the goals. And it's because you have Mokopa there, who's a robot. You take the robot, you'll make a side in. What's the robot gonna do? Come on, guys, man. Move Caleb from the striking, they use him as a wing. He's gonna be fumbling. So for me, I think, you know, besides the fact that Kuto said, you know, the coach Bafana, this is not Bafana, this is Pirates. Mina, if I'm a coach of Pirates, I will tell them, no, Chelanu, Bruce, he will use him in Pirates. Mina, I want to win games. I cannot be putting that guy there when he's costing me, because if he's not going to be a striking force, guys, why is he playing more than 70 minutes? Then rather use him 30 minutes or 40 minutes, take him out second half and bringing those players that can move. You see, like if you have Erasmus like Papambi, you stand a chance because Erasmus moves, like he's able to draw players to himself. And the Pirates usually, that's how they played. They didn't have a target man who's standing up there. And also, and I want to go back to the point that you used before. Guys, the Pirates have a lot of beautiful players, especially in the center of the half. Like they have a beautiful ball players, but if they don't use that, they are not gonna go anywhere. If you are playing against a team that is gonna pack the bus, put those ball players, force them to move the guys. You cannot now come in and then if you cross, it's not your strength. Play to your strengths. So as Etienne said, there's no way we're not gonna play Michose, guys. It's about high time that we come in and you ask ourselves, did he do his homework? Did he go and check Richard Pegu first game, first half, second half, and then in this game? Because it's the very same thing. You cannot come now and say he made a mistake with the players. We can't blame the players. Him as a coach, he must come with corrections and with answers. Yeah,
okay, and I'm sure angazi i-textbook ye-UEFA A license. I'm sure there's a chapter on low block. I'm sure angazi. Velile, I wanna go into the game now. I wanna go into the game, and I wanna look at department by department. Lapha emuva indlala 3-4-3. Nfaka Unda ubamba ibhola, and he becomes the playmaker. But then, in something, team was the one dropping back to collect from Unda. Undonjo is now pushed up. I don't understand. Ngoba, the time Ndonjo was dropping back to collect the ball and playing the ball up. But Ndonjo now he disappears from the game. Can you take me through that? Ngoba mina understand me.
No.
What are the roles? What are the roles, Lapa Pirates? The roles,
no,
yes,
the role vele team I especially ngomgqibelo is the role vele that is supposed to play. But now, since uNdlondlo aya phambili, then which means then we will need more players to go up front, especially the white players. If only I understood ukuthi since uHoto adlala left back position, the role yakhe because he seems to be lost on that side. Angimtholi since nje kahle ulahlekile kakhulu. I-role ka-team vele iyo leyo. Go collect the ball from the defense yakho vabonda uxoko usibisa abalaphayana. Pass it moving forward to uNdlondlo. uNdlondlo, remember ukuthi he's also good with the front pass. That would maybe will reach players ngabo Makaring or Erasmus if they are playing there. I indaba kaMakhoba because ngempela leyo namanje ngisamile nakuyo. I still believe ukuthi we need to give other players a chance abonga even abomaru just to see them. We have seen Erasmus. We have to try another thing. But in terms of system, very system they just need to be clinical moving forward with forward passes, quick ones, especially if you're going to play a low block side. Once you dispose the ball from them, you need to quickly open up them.
But the reason why Ngbuza is that mhlawumbe nanwina abo 5-0 benchabo 5-0 abo 4-0 abo 3-0 beshisa Pirates. You are bypassing the defense and going straight to Undlondlo. And then Undlondlo, I used to criticize him. I used to criticize him because
Undlondlo used to bypass team or Munare to collect the ball from him, of which it's not responsible. But if you watch him doing that, last he will disappear sometimes.
But Benwina.
He will disappear.
But Benwina.
Yeah, bekayenza you used to bypass the two is umunare or team to go and collect of which then makenza njalo udlondlo that thing it renders umunare or team rendered because abasana msebenzi. That's why sizoba-play ukuthi hayi abenze next abantwana vele akufaka amanye ama-player it renders them redundant vele if udlondo is going to do that but yena he's good vele moving forward ukuthi mele a-receive those pass and sometimes the coach naye if team is playing a low block and the team is your defensive midfielder and sometimes you don't need them if you've got 4 players who are playing at the back undawo Sibisi noXoki uHoto also will move you change the system you play with flat 3 at the back. Flat 3. You release Uhoto, go forward. I don't need a distract because this Labantabe is Musigiti. Asiyeke phambili akwethina let's come up with a different we don't need a central midfield. You use the flat 3 at the back and then the other one Asiyeke Phambili. Have more numbers on the box. But if you are playing a low block team, you also don't have numbers on the block. And one also thing that's important is movement of the ball. You can be if your movement of the ball and was correct, then even moving forward with your system, I compliment you guys.
But then now your system now undlondlo masekadlala 10 it's confusing uMaswanganyi who as well in the past few games ingathi bamfostela ukuthi adlale more of an 8-6 type role. I don't understand ukuthi Jose enzani.
But that's why I'm saying now comes in movement of the ball. Because remember, when you move as a player, sometimes you take other players away from the person who's carrying the ball coming forward to you. You see? So the movement of the ball, that's where it's important. Yes, you can say you're playing, you're supposed to play 10. But now, okay, the system has changed. You have to, okay, now the system is changing. Now we are attacking. So our movement and stamina must be there so that we can be able to create those spaces, especially whether you're going to use them as short passes or what. But the movement is very important. If you have seen Utemba Zwane Magadlala, no Alend, movement. Yeah, when they pass the ball, like moving forward. Besides, ungamfaka uShalile because Shalile will just uzovela nje out of nowhere. But that movement from Uzwane, uthola sometimes uAlende, and you used to do that before uMayemba basamfaka naye. They used to do that. So that's why I get if when you are attacking, then you need to change the system. But now you must emphasize there, guys. I know we are quick, we are skillful players, but it's not only about now my player to head home or land it directly. Your movement, allow the player to movement of the ball and quick. It's so important, guys. Kunzima, bafo. Kunzima.
It's ngifaka uagent ngifuna ukubuya ngoba ngifuna ukukhuluma ngale phambili wala phambili I'm gonna come back for phambili.
Okay,
agent, is this another case because we spoke a couple of weeks ago about how Lodge coming into the team and Lodge being forced into the team is displacing some of the Pirates players because of his star power, because of his size in the team, man. It's almost as if they don't know what to do. Then you find Kim Viudi running on the wing. Is that not what is that not what's happening here with Pirates, where Nda is now on the pitch, fan favorite, star, whatever, so he holds the ball, and then Tim is on the pitch, so Tim now wants a little bit of that ball, and because Tim is on the pitch, Ndonto has been pushed up to 10, a position that he hasn't been playing in the beginning of the season when Pirates was doing well. And that is displacing uMaswanganyi, who now has to fend for himself on the right-hand side of the pitch, playing a 6 and 8 thing. What's Jose thinking, and is it the right thing? I don't understand, because he had a winning formula.
Yeah, but before I go there, are you going to talk about my team or what? Just a quick question there.
Oh, later.
Oh, all right. So, anyways, just want to make sure, eh? Just making sure. But I think I liked the way you asked Uvelile the question. I think I want to answer it that way first. In the new, all those coaches use the same thing. Same manual, here's what was happening, right? Undlondlo, you were right. I have to disagree with very low on this. That Undlondlo was the one who was playing. In South Africa we call it the island role.
The register,
abroad,
deep lying playmaker.
yeah, the deep playmaker. Abroad we have players like De Jong, and those who watch Man United will see what Melo did. We see what Rodri does.
Abo
in Man City.
Perlo.
Yeah, those are the kind of players. So it's a midfielder. It shouldn't be a defender. What happens is when the ball starts at the back, the two center backs move out wide, and then the wingers, the fullbacks push up, overlap, and then you have the playmaker who drops in and receives the ball from the keeper, who then connects. He will bypass team. He must bypass team. He will have to play to either Umufokeng or Maswangai, who are going to take it forward. That's how the play should be. You look at
That's how it
Sundowns.
was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you look at Sundowns, rarely do you see Mokoena playing.
Yeah.
In fact, Mokoena, most of the time, he
He's a
initiates
bouncer.
up the field.
He's a bouncer.
Yeah,
He's a security.
He's security, Mashingilani,
Even together.
he's just there guiding in case we lose the ball. That then I can cover. But otherwise,
That was Munare. Remember we used to speak about Munare like that. That's what Munare's
Yeah.
role was.
yes, even Omonaro was being bypassed. He wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah.
So I think Utim, is a good player, but I don't think he's a good playmaker like Undlondlo. So now Undlondlo, I don't think he's the type of player who works in tight spaces like Umaswangai and Mofake moved. So when you take good team and make him take the ball and give it on to Undlondlo. Undlondlo's in traffic. He doesn't know what to do, And the fact that you have displaced Undlondlo and you pushed him up, you are displacing Umufokeng. And Maswangai and Mufokeng because of the twins, So you push them outside. So I think Tim can fit in this team if he plays the Monare role.
Okay.
Why not just destroy or just cover up whatever you see, wherever you see there is possible danger, you go there. Like Casemiro. Casemiro doesn't play. He just senses danger. So I think that's the problem that Paris is having. That's the first one. The second one goes to your question specifically that, and I think we're having this conversation yesterday on the group that. I'm for one. Sometimes you have to do what they call the Queen's Gambit. Sacrifice, sacrifice a big player so that the team can gel. Because I think we're seeing that when we have Ronaldo who is up there and others are down there, it causes instability. So you have Lodge who is up there and others are just below. So when you bring in such kind of player, it kind of disturbs the rhythm of play. And bringing in a
And now there's three of them. Last game for Pirates, there's three of them. Nda, Tim, and Upule, even though he wasn't as effective. But yeah.
Yeah, and you talk of... that's why sometimes you take out the big players because they don't necessarily follow the plan. The younger ones have to follow the plan to the T. All should want to move around, he wants to go on the outside, so Kimvidi has to go that side. He has to go to the other side, Masonga has to move. He has to go this side, someone has to move for him, So that causes confusion among players, especially if, it's easy when you're playing against top players like Sundowns. Shalule can afford to move outside, Rebel can afford to go outside, Zwane can afford to be in the middle. And even with that, Sundowns one is coordinated, it's kind of planned out. It's not a random player also saying, I'm going to own the wing, I'm going there. So I think coach has to say to the coach, Olosh, tone it down a bit, just play to the tactics, or you give out scenarios to players that, okay, fine, Kimvidi, when Olosh is dropping out, is dropping in the middle, you don't go out because you have pace. Rather ask Umufokeng to go out and then you play with Olosh there, Or Umufokeng when you're on the wing and Olosh wants to come to your wing, sometimes you have to go that side, sometimes you have to support him, give him the third option, So I think the coach has to address it also. So yeah.
Okay, Theo. Ngena ma tactics nina. Ngithi bathi we don't know tactics. Ngifuna ukungena kuwo. Undawo bamba ibhola. Anikeza uThima bamba ibhola. Anikeza uNdlondlo bamba ibhola. Then uTito doesn't know what to do. No, Tito akazi ukuthi ayenzeni mawuthola ibhola. Then other times Unda gets the ball, the team comes back to collect, but then Undondlo now doesn't know what to do. Lapha phambili.
It's not the yo.
These changes that were made by Jose, man, angazi, maybe you understand, maybe he mengazi ama-tactics.
No, man, as guys, let's be honest. First of all, and I know it's okay, most of the points that Velile and Agent are raising, even you, are true. But guys, let's not forget that most of his quality players are coming back from injury. Let's not forget that, you know, you have Elipasa, injury, Ndlondlo, Saleng. So I think the problem, that the problem that he's facing, hence he's trying to tweak tactics there and there, but he's struggling because he knows he's afraid to let this guy come and jump them in again. Because if you remember, Pirates, they are key players or they are components or a player or who are making Pirates tick. Undlondlo, Elipasa, Saleng. Reason being, they were able to find each other, move the ball very quick, and Erasmus will just pop up out of nowhere. Even if he was there or not there, he was making a difference. But to look at how they are playing now, I think also the biggest challenge is the fact that now you have players that are trying by all means to just be moving in front of their opponents instead of finding combinations, because that's how Pirates play. More than anything, Pirates, they use combinations more than anything. So that alone, I think the coach would not want to admit to Guti, he is having a struggling team. But he's also, I asked myself, why bring in Umakaringa when you have Saleng on the bench? And if it's a matter of game time, bring him in and see what will happen. Why are you playing Mahope while you have Lipasa on the bench? Bring him in and see what happens. So I think also he's afraid he'll bring these guys in and then they play, and then all of a sudden it will be like he didn't give these other guys a chance. But not understanding that they are destroying what he's trying to build. The reason why Munare would have shot on target is because of how Pirates was playing then. But when you look at Tim is just a destroyer. He will not offer you anything forward. But if you have Undlondlo, guys, is not just a playmaker. Ndlondlo is also a ball carrier, you understand? He's able to find pockets. But you take that element away from him. You want him to just give you a final pass. You're destroying him. And you look at Tupule, and I said this thing before, Uloch. When they brought in Uloch, I said, Uloch, when he gets injured or has a problem, Pirates is going to struggle because they are relying on his pace, they are relying on his skillfulness, but forgetting the structure that the team was built on. Usaleng, at some point, you even forget that he was a skillful player because he was playing football, passing, moving around, popping up in pockets. That's what you were expecting from these players now, but they can't because they have to change. Kim Vudi now, Tito now, and other. If that's why Mufokeng is even struggling dismally. Mufokeng is struggling dismally because he's no longer finding his footing based on how Pirates was playing before. And the sad part is, guys, you look at the Pirates, the squad that they have. You check in the bench. He didn't have a choice to bring on those players. He had to bring them because the players that he selected were wrong players in the first place to bring them into the team. If you are giving players a chance, you cannot be giving Makaringa guys a chance. Makaringa Nasega left back at the end of the game, and I'm like, what? So you see, even he himself as a coach is starting to even now be confused. So unless he goes back and say, let me bring the same system that I was playing before, and then see what happens, he's still going to struggle. Even I wonder if he was playing with the clinical Richards Bay, it will be a different story.
Okay. Velile, masephambili. Nikora kanjani? I just want someone to explain to me how Pirates is meant to score with this formation.
How many games ago? When was the last time we scored 2 goals?
Long time.
Yo, uyayibona ukuthi sibhekane nendaba enzima la. Indaba, I think ngibuyele emuva kancane. Undlondlo ku-Platinum Stars bekadlala kuphi?
No. Mina, I'm not even going back to play. Mina ngithi, at the beginning of this season, Ndlondlo, for me, was the star player at Pirates because he was doing what team is doing now, and Ndao wasn't there. So the reason why Pirates was playing so fast was because it would go from Chain straight to Ndlondlo. who then played straight to Abo Tito. But
Yeah.
now, Undondlo, when he's pushed up, fine, bekadlala khona Platinum Stars. But the issue is now that because Ndlondo has been moved up, Tito gets displaced. Tito udlala nomfukeng. Fukeng and Tito are now separated. Then also Ipola has to go now from goalkeeper to Nda, from Nda to Team, from Team to Ndlondo, from Ndlondo maybe to Maswangwani sometimes. And by that time, low block plays. Low block is done.
Okay. And then for the past 10 games, let's say holistically. For the past 10 games, on the attacking players with Pirates, which player has played 3 full games moving forward consecutively?
Lodge.
Only.
Lodge.
Yes. So which means even if like you are trying to build something, but angeke is be solid if uzoshintsha because Masbeka we have to accept ukuthi coach vele shuthi uMaru Nonda akabafili. Like they're not even on his plan. So I say again as Pumen lab because really it seems like Umakhopa is much better than them. We have suffered. Yes, Ulipasa started on a house on fire. But I remember I did mention go to Ulipasa. He's been pirate for his seat. We know good taxi umuntu ongayempini and for the whole season. So which means now we are left with that player now. But also now as a coach, we need to see the direction at what we are trying to implement. Look, Upule. Ubuyile makabuya kuDebe wakhipha uMakhopa wamenza as a false 9, which means we are trying to do something ngaye and see ukuthi it will work. So you tried only for that 15 minutes derby. Now say try so yayekela futhi just abandon that foot sesekuphelile. Uyayibona futhi ukuthi iyo ngeke izihlangane. It will always be disjointed if you won't have players, especially your attacking players who are not going to play 3 consecutive matches. You might never know whether it's injuries or vele who coach babe benching because abaningi ababo besingazi into sudden iplayer ledlalile manje but selihlele benching. You also again substitution yazama iFIFA and the COVID to at least have 5 substitution, but it seems like this 5 substitution has become our worst enemies. But it seems like I say 7 this one just for fun.
All of the teams, yeah.
Yes, but what's the main purpose of doing this substitution? Are they really meant to change the game or
Yeah.
So yes, we have some blame our coach, but also the system when you build it up, you try and also try to be consistent. So that we know, okay, we've seen uZamile Upula, but we are about Umakhupa now. Umakhupa is game is 4 le ayilo mudaga sisi down. But we've tried that one. Let me try and compete this one and give it the full game and see what it will work or not. We never 15 minutes last time, so I can bet the next game Upula akadlala lokudlala. Maybe uRoach uzobusakabuye suspend to be so it's like you're starting again every time again, but you are not even improving.
Okay, no, hey.
No,
Hayi ama-team wethu.
ngiyabonga bafowethu kodwa
No.
asithembe ukuthi hayi kuzolunga. Hayi kunzima.
Sihlala ethembeni at least nama-trophy thina siyathemba nje but it's fine.
Yiwo lama-trophy asibhayizisile uyabona manje ukuthi asikhostile.
Now, Billy. Let me go to Malube Kutso. How does this team score? Or is there something you want to address? And then my question.
I don't know. Did something happen when I left? I had
Aye.
not even. Look, our goals within that lineup are corn. And when we speak about injuries and other reasons for players not being there, it's really not an excuse. And to show the extent Yagale Pasa, how injured he is called up to the national team. He goes there and in a game where you would think which coach would call upon him, because we had a game local, kind of AFCON qualifier, where we started with Lion Foster, and then when we went away, we played Kalipasa, and he did the business. The coach chooses to play Umihlali Mayambela as a striker. That should tell you how off the pace Ulipasa is because of this injury. You understand? We have a Paseka Mako who is also providing stability, who we thought I thought it's funny business that he's not playing anymore, only to be told he'll only be back next year, showing how severe his injury is. You understand? The players I'm talking about were mainstay in the team. You understand? We have Undro, who I think it was a game before the derby, if not got derby, literally played limping. You could see the toe is broken or something. So the guys are actually injured, and you can't do much about it. At this point, we're gonna sub the entire 11. You understand? We have Umunyane, who we know he has to play every game, and he's been contributing positively. Suddenly, Lena limits.
On top of Shandu.
You understand? And then we have Shaine, also injured. These are real things. These are not conspiracies. The players are actually injured. The momentum has been broken, and not figuratively, but literally, the players are broken. They both have been broken. So it's going to take time, but there is quality there. And I read when I saw the report, even Ukaping is injured. You understand? But when you look at the team, I'm happy Kakabelo Dlamini. If there's a player who's underrated or rather unappreciated, it's a player like Ukabelo Dlamini. Ukabelo Dlamini will definitely contribute. When you have Ukabelo Dlamini, you will have goals. So I'm happy that he's back in the starting lineup. He will assist or he will score. When you that player a rare commodity, he might not look the part, but he is the part. Understand? So once we have Abu Kabelo Jamin, once the Bagaloch is sorted out, I feel the Pirates will be back in tune. We just need big game players and game changers. So Mahopa, in as much as I'm angry with him, he does get a chance. He does have a movement to create tap-in situations more often than not. And that Choka said, it's easy to finish a tap-in, but to start a movement at tap-in, I don't know. When you team, how many strikers have scored tap-ins? They haven't. They're scoring some brilliant goals, but not tap-ins. The tap-in, you have to be special. You have to be able to read and smell blood. So I'll give him credit for that and say, I just hope he improves.
How much of this is, the way I explained it during the watch-along was that Pirates doesn't necessarily care that much about the striker. It's more about the wing players, and the wing players getting chances to run in behind diagonally, like Abu Saleng, very, very dangerous because he becomes almost a second striker. And then that chaos is usually where your striker gets a goal. How much of it comes down to the play of other players around him? Because I think maybe we're asking Mahopa to do a little bit too much. And in order to get those tap-ins and those opportunities, there has to be a lot else happening around him.
Look, when it comes to Ishula Saleng, it's a sad one, like I said. I think Umakopa is a player that would accommodate a player like Usaleng. And Usaleng was off form. Umakopa, right now, he doesn't have big shoulders. So it's easy to run into a space that he's supposed to occupy. He would let him move over for you. So I wish something Begadala no Mahopa. You understand? It makes so much sense. But with the other guys, if we're not talking for Saleng's perspective, I would want Mahopa to grow a bigger head. Okay. Grow some shoulders, demand the ball. Tell them these are too many passes. Eliminate the pass which I want to make my teammates happy. go for goal, you know, make runs, it's a direct goal more than running around as he has been. He should play to his strengths. And as Umchita just commented, it's 2 o'clock, Mr. Oti. I have to leave.
No stress, no stress, no stress. I also saw the comment now. Let me let Flo get in. We always try, no Flo, Marine Network. How are you, my brother? Hey.
Still is always weak. The network is always weak, man. Why, man?
I don't know, man. And Flo, man, you know how much I love you guys, man. I always want to hear from you guys. So it's sad that Flo can never come on. Network always kills him. I think for time's sake, Agent, can you give me a closing statement for today in terms of what we're speaking about?
Yeah, he must switch to Vodacom. Expensive but worth it. But anyways,
Maybe to Vodacom. Maybe might say, hey, don't talk bad about Pirates, and they were like, "I Raikwal."
But I think I wanted to answer your question on the striking force, you know, and I wanted to say two things.
Yes.
That okay. Okay, my son don't so let me just go to something that I know. I wanted to make an example by Chiefs, but anyways, it's fine. Look at Sundowns. Sundowns, beginning of the year, we have Matrapa, we have Shalulile, we have Ribeiro, we have who's the other? Shalulile. We have 4 of them who are our strikers, you know.
Oh, Miami.
And coach.
No, not Miami.
Midfielder.
No, never mind.
Nasir.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So beginning of the season, our coach says he needs another striker. Hence there was the Mayo rumors, you know. Hence I asked you, do these coaches do scouting reports and stuff, you know? Because he looked at the squad and said, okay, Nasir is always injured. So I need another person and I don't trust Umutupa to play. You know, so that's why he needed an extra striker. Okay, fine, he didn't get it, and he was correct to need another striker because the past month or so we had all 4 of them injured. You know, and I think Sundowns will get a striker soon, January or whatever. Now Pirates, you look at Pirates, they have Erasmus, they have Makopa, they have Lepasa, and that Nigerian is a Nigerian or Ghanaian guy. So. Coach Jose should have said, I'm not going to use this guy, so I need another striker because you look at Erasmus is injury prone. And then you have Ole Pass and Makopa. I was trying to search Makopa stars. They're saying he didn't score any goal last season. I don't know how true that is, but from what I'm seeing, he didn't score any goal with 6 games. And Lepasa's goals were 3 goals in 3 matches.
And you let go of Zugamanja.
And you've let go of Zugamanja. You know, so you look at the firing power, it's not there. You know, it's not there. And Saleng was being figured out by the end of the season. You could see the decline. So as a coach, you say, I won't be able to rely on Saleng for goals. So hence, I need another striker. And like I said, Uzuka is going, so you have to replace Uzuka Manja. So I think that was poor foresight from Coach Jose, you know. And then, okay, fine, I can give them that they're injured. But look at what Uruguay does. All his forwards are injured, but he finds a solution. That's what it means to be a coach and not be a new who just analyze game. You have to coach and say, what do I do? You know, look at Sundowns. You have tried Zwan, you have tried Miami, you have tried everyone. I wasn't even surprised if you had tried Williams there. Because Uruguay was trying to find a solution. And as a coach, you must find a solution, you know? So I'm disappointed by the scouting department and by Jose for not.
Before you move on from that, my issue as well becomes, is the expectation not too big for Makopa, even Lepasa to a degree? Because for me, from watching Pirates, I've never thought that Pirates is a team that plays striker football. It's the striker football is a secondary thing for when the wing play doesn't work. Even if you look at the goals that Lepasa scores, Lepasa is not scoring out and out classic striker goals. It's the ball bobbled like this and his instincts took over. He was able to score, or maybe a cross didn't go where it was meant to go, so there was a goal where he shielded a defender and turned around. It's not necessarily manufactured for him. Aren't we putting too much on Makgopa's shoulders, because there's so much other things that are broken in Pirates' attack that now making it Makgopa's fault is kind of it's unfair.
It is unfair to put such kind of pressure on Makgopa, you know. Like I said, from the stars that I've seen, I stand to be corrected. He didn't score any goals and he played 6 matches last season. You know, so you cannot say that person should go from 0 goals to maybe 10. You know, and then you have Ole Pasa also. Ole Pasa also scored 3 goals in 22 matches. Yes, a good start, you know, and that was. It should have been a surprise that he got to that so many goals, you know. But the default should have been he's not gonna score as many goals this season, because let's go from 3 and go to 10, you know. So, like I said, it's too much pressure on those guys individually, and as a team, they're functioning in a team where you're not gonna put in crosses, you're not gonna put in what is it called? Cutting the ball across, you know, for them to finish, you know. So it's always a player coming in, individual brilliance, score, you know. So it goes back again to the system that, okay, fine, if Fosali is not going to give you goals, if your Locho is not there, what do you do? You know, hence you have to find a solution. That's why I'm always like, it looks like Pirates, as Jose as a coach, he's failing to solve the problems at Pirates. The problems are there. Everyone sees them. He sees them every week. At least, unlike others, he sees them and he talks about them, you know, but he's not solving them. So he's as good as the others that do not mention, you know. But as my concluding statement, I'm gonna step on some toes here.
Oh, Nazo. At least not stepping on Sundowns fan toes, because that's what you usually do.
No, the thing is, OT, I think the problem is, here's the problem, OT. Our fans don't take criticism well, you know. Sometimes from a good heart, you know. When I said Jose winning is kind of luck or something, it wasn't crafted. They took it to heart and say, this guy is being on banter. You know, when we're saying Chiefs not doing well, or let's talk about you saying Chiefs not doing well, they take it to heart and say, this one is a Sundowns fan, can charge. You know, but it's all saying we are football fans, but sometimes when we analyze football, we take the emotions out of it and just talk football. You know, and I just want to talk football. That is Pirates the second best team in Mzansi? Or is it Super Sport?
Dang.
You know, let's just say, let's just put it out there that even
you
the last
leave
two
that for
seasons-
last, Mara Agent. You leave that inflammatory statement
I
for
must
last.
go. No, I'm so that they don't attack me because they're not here. but it's a serious question that in the past 2-3 seasons, is Pirates really the second best team, or is it Super Sport? You know, fair enough, they've won cups, but does winning cups make you the second best team? I can say United has won a cup more than Arsenal in the last season or 2, but is it the second best team behind Man City? I'm just gonna put it out there.
Now I ask it differently. I always ask, how far is Pirates away from Sundowns? That's how I ask it. Because sometimes when you say number 2, it makes it sound as though, man, they were one lucky win away, man. Never referee that one game. And it's 16 points. But yeah, Theo, 2 questions then. Now, how does Pirates score goals? How are they meant to score goals in the system? And then also number 2, your closing statements.
Agent uyakwazi ukukwatisa abantu ngona ukhutho apho ikhutha vela semtsa Oh, but this is very interesting, guys, man. Sorry, Mr. Otsi. When we watch soccer, guys, I love what Agent just said. We watch soccer from different perspectives. When Sundowns plays bad, they get angry. When Chiefs plays bad, we get angry. Emotions are meant to be there, but sometimes you just need to take off the blindfold of emotions and just do what Rulani said they do. You watch the game as a fan, you watch the game as a coach, and then you watch the game. Yeah, and you analyze. So I think if we do that, we will learn to understand our football differently. But to answer your question, there's a lot that needs to be done, Mr. Otsi. First of all, you cannot tell me in all those players that they have, about Tito, now they brought in Makaring, Kim Vuidi, Bolochi. You can put them all together, and I will ask you, in all of them, do you think if they can play 90 minutes each and every game for the next 10 games, how many goals will they have at the end of the season? None of them is going to be above 5. That already tells you, Guti, the problem is scoring goals, not creating. So you can get in front of goal, you can hit the crossbar, but if the ball does not go beyond the net, you still have the same problem unless you solve that. But what I think they need to do, guys, I will say this again. Bench Makgopa, and I know people don't like this. Bench Makgopa, put in either a Lipasa or an Erasmus, put in a mobile striker, someone who will not be dictated by the 18-yard area, and then you take him out of the 18-yard area, they are dead. Lipasa, you put him in the side, you have killed him. Makgopa, you put him in the side, you have killed him. He's not going to chase players, he's not going to take players on, he's just going to want to pass and do nothing. Put in a player there in the middle who's going to go to Abo give pass them back, 1-2s, and then open spaces. You understand? If maybe Basaba, put in Lumfan Mufukeng, La Papamil. Guys, these young boys are hungry. You put him up there as a false 9, even if you can just play him the last 30 minutes of every game. I promise you, he will impact the game, he will make changes. But the question still remains, are they going to be consistent? Is Pirates going to be consistent? Because to answer Agent's question, why are we saying Pirates number 2? Pirates is number 2 because on paper, they can
Hey, Vodacom, I say Vala. Theo, are you still with me? This thing must be investigated, guys. Why is it that when you get into the tough parts of the show, it stops going? But it's fine, Theo. I'm gonna cut you off for now. Look, guys, for me, it's what I've been saying about Jose for weeks, right? I'm not necessarily one to go fire him, and it's getting towards that point maybe, but not saying you must fire him. I'm saying that you need to question your coach. There's a reason why you have squads of 30 people. You have squads of 30 people so that if something happens to someone can step in and play, right? But it seems as though these things confuse the coaches. He should have a system for when Lodge steps onto the pitch. He should have a system for when Vincent Pule and Dow on the pitch. But now you see the confusion within the Pirates players when certain players step onto the pitch. For me, Pirates played incredibly well when Dow was not there, Tim was not there, Lodge was not there. China to Ndlondlo, to Tito, go score your goal. But now, when you bring on these big stars of the Pirates, Nda now holds the ball. Tim now holds the ball. Then it must go to Ndlondlo. Then Ndlondlo must try find Tito. Then Nabo Tito have to try find Makgopa. Right? By that time, the low block is set. It's done. It's finished. Right? And I'm saying to you, and I'm asking of Jose, you had a working system. Why did you change the working system? Pirates has now gone to, I think this is their third system of the season, third system. 4-3-3 with Ndlondlo collecting. 4-3-3 with Ndlondlo injured and Dab progressing the play. So when Ndlondlo was playing the beginning of the season, it was going through the middle. When Nda was playing now, when Ndlondlo was out, it was playing wide and coming in. Now they're playing a 3-4-3 with Hoto as the third center back and doing that type of system where Ndlondlo and Nda don't know what to do. There's so much happening. And in my head, and it's not just Pirates, it's the PSL in general, outside of Sundowns. You look at them and you go, but guys, you guys are coaches. You guys have squads, you guys have analysts, you guys have assistant coaches, you guys have all of this stuff. You should at least know what to do when someone is missing. And for how many weeks has Jose himself come out in press conferences and say, we can't deal with the low block, but also there's a problem that I need to solve? His words from the past, I don't know how many different press conferences. So at what point do you look at the coach and say, Mara coach, what is your job title? What is your job title? Aren't you meant to know how to use these players with all of the knowledge of your licenses, with all of the knowledge of the squad that you've been with for 2 years now? Yes, there's new players, but it's 2 seasons. You're not a new coach who's still getting used to the vibe of South Africa and the play of South Africa. You know, they love saying that stuff. At what point do you look at him and say, my guy, that's my thing. I've watched the Pirates now. We watch Pirates, we watch Chiefs, we watch Sundowns primarily on this platform. We've watched Pirates for how many games now, and we've said the same exact thing. At what point does somebody change something? And I like the point that Velile brought up. COVID gave us 5 subs. 5 subs is incredible because what we're expecting from football is that if I have 5 subs, I can change half of my team and play completely different football should I want to. How many of the times have you seen PSL coaches, including Jose, fundamentally change how a game is being played using these subs? And that just shows you again that personnel, we don't know our personnel. Or we're not comfortable, or we don't have a plan for each of them. That's scary. Here's Pirates, arguably the second best team in the league quality-wise on paper. But that second is 16 points. And they're not improving like that. And you can paper over the cracks with trophies, these trophies. You can paper over all of these things with certain stuff. But the league will always show you. The league never lies because it's 30 games. And Pirates has not been able to perform in the league for plenty of reasons. Personnel, attitude, tactics. There's so many things. So at what point do you look at a Jose and say, Mr. Ribeiro, coach, please, can you fix this problem? At what point does the goodwill of the 3 trophies, which is not easy to do, ask me, it's been 8 seasons. I'm not playing down that thing. That's why I'm not saying he must get fired. But at what point do you, at what point does that go away? That thing of, okay, they've won 3 trophies, must pay on my performance. When I asked you guys about, let's look at the performances and should we question him? I think it was a month or 2 ago when I asked that question. It wasn't out of malice. It wasn't because I was trying to be snacks. It was literally just because it's going to catch up to you at some point. And I think it's caught up to him right now that his play is not, the Pirates' play is not as strong, right? So at what point does that, at what point do you look at him? At what point do you look at the players? At what point do you look at the players and say, guys, you guys are Pirates players. You guys are on similar salaries as what Sundowns is. You guys are rated similarly to some of the Sundowns players. At what point do you start showing that on the pitch? Yeah, the tactics are bad and everything is off, let's say. At what point does a Pirates player say, I am going to put Pirates on my back? On my back, and I'm going to do something. At what point? Because I'm also seeing players who are hiding. And I know sometimes it hurts, but when I told you guys that Pirates is an emotional team, this is what I meant. When everything is going right, Pirates is incredible. Abo Tito, Abo Mfukeng, Abo Zbamba, they're incredible the way that they play. But when the backs are against the wall, or something is wrong, or Pirates is not at the level they're meant to be, or the sun is not shining properly, or the other team is in a low block, they shrink. Remember when I told you guys that the problem with Lodge coming back was that when Lodge stepped on that pitch, he dictates what the other guys do. When he wants to move into midfield, he moves into midfield. Kim Vuyuri doesn't know what to do. When the ball is primarily going to Ndai and Lodge, Tito doesn't know what to do anymore. So at some point, those players themselves also have to look at themselves and say, all right, guys, we need to stand up as Pirates players, whether it be versus Richards Bay, or whether it be me looking at Vincent Pule, looking at the team and saying, Tim, I'm taking that ball. Looking at Runda and saying, Da, you can't hold the ball for too long. Let's play the ball up quickly. These players have to show some character as well. Or else you're going to carry on seeing this. Pirates have now, they've drawn twice versus Richards Bay, losing one of the games because of penalties. Next, second worst team in the league. Lost to Cape Town Spurs, worst team in the league. I don't want to mention Abo Jwaneng, and Shem Jwaneng is showing to be a strong team. I don't want to mention those things. But really, Pirates fans, start questioning, start looking at your team. And to Pirates, if anybody's listening, hi guys, this is not how you're meant to be acting as what we believe is the second best team in the league. You guys are meant to be focused on trying to close that gap with Sundowns. Close that gap with Sundowns, and you're not going to close it like this. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back again at 8 o'clock. We're going to speak about Kaizer Chiefs. We're going to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns. So 8 o'clock, join me. If you have not followed, please follow. If you're late, the conversation will be available in full on Facebook and on YouTube, so you'll be able to find it there, and any of the other amazing conversations we've had. And if you think those conversations are incredible, the conversations that happen in our WhatsApp group, you hear Theo, you hear Agent, you hear Abomalo Mekutso mentioning it when they come onto the show. It's incredible. We have some of the best convos there, and there's no time limits, and there's no anything. So if you want to join our WhatsApp group, head on over to YouTube, the Overthinking Football Show, subscribe, and then click join. For only 20 Rand a month, you'll be able to join our WhatsApp group and have more far-ranging conversations outside and have more of a say with the really great football guys. I have to give them credit. Really great football guys. And also, if you don't want to do the WhatsApp thing, you can contribute, because not just nama rent, not just nama expense that we need to pay, our internet or what. And for us to carry on doing these things, me specifically, for me to carry on doing these things, I really do need your support. So if you can contribute just 20 Rand every month, if we get the right numbers, it really does help keep these things up. It really does help contribute to me, just 20 Rand. And I'm able to carry on doing these things and bringing these conversations and doing the content that I do. So support, guys, support. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. 8 o'clock, it's the date. Let's see what's happening on YouTube. Omgelo says Tito must be benched, BC bench for Sesane. You need Dondlo and 8 and 10 qualities. Have Saleng keep the width. Our guys is more of a Gundogan. Allende, yes, but Allende is not a DLP. More of a Shoboslai. When you push up Dondlo Dondlo forms a pivot. Top zone 14. That is why the problem with Tito and Pirates is having with width. The coach forgot what worked. Yeah, he forgot. Interesting convo. We have interesting convos every single day on this here platform. Thank you so much for joining me today on the YouTube side. Facebook, let's see. Tegani says the justice system is poor. Very deep conversation, that one, Tegani. I wanted to have it with also the Mason Greenwood stuff and things like that. And then let's see, we have to blame Jose, guys. That guy is not serious. How can you funza us the number 17? Kenzo. Bas Kenzo says you're spot on. Thank you for joining me, Kenzo. Guys, I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock. We're going to be discussing Kaizer Chiefs and also Mamelodi Sundowns and breaking it down in depth as we do on the Monday show. Thank you guys for joining me.